What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional. I know this was like a live that none of you knew anything about. I just kind of randomly did this. I randomly did this live. For those who will view this later, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As you can see the title. Oh wow, yeah, I can see my ceiling over here. Anyway, it is what it is. Um, so I said that I was gonna. I said that I was gonna make peace awareness daily. I don't know how to give you a wrench. As soon as I figure that out, you have a wrench. Anyway, I said I was gonna keep doing fitness lives. I was gonna keep doing fitness lives. If y'all want to chime in and ask questions, you can. But this is another episode of Peace, brother. Peace, brother. That's what's up. That's what's up. So I'm here to build about, pardon me, I just finished eating. Excuse me. I'm here to build about, workout routines. So as you can see, it said God body. That's every time you see God body, I'm talking about the physical body. I'm talking about building a God's body, like the body of a God. So what does a body of a God look like? It definitely doesn't look like a dad bod. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like it's well proportioned. You know what I'm saying? You're able to run long distances, short distances, sprints, squat your body weight, bench press your body weight, deadlift your body weight. You're pretty much in good conditioning, and you look good, and you can, use your physical body for whatever is needed, whether it's doing yard work, whether it's doing security, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna explain more into depth on how to build this program. So before we would talk, just rule of thumb, rule of thumb, rule of thumb, rule of thumb, rule of thumb. If you're going to do these, if you're going to create a program for yourself, keep in mind that you have to test where your fitness level is. You have to test where your fitness level is. So I'm going to give an example. But before I give that example, remember the podcast about fitness prior, we were talking about macro cycles. And then I kept saying micro cycle. Pardon me, I'm correcting that right now. So the macro cycle is the whole year. So you want to program the whole year, 52 weeks, right? And then the mesocycle are the small months, right? Or the seasonal periods. The mesocycle is the seasonal periods. So a full year is a macro cycle. The mesocycle would be the short seasons, right? And then the microcycle would be the weeks leading up to the mesocycle, and the mesocycle is leading up to the year. So that's how the program is broken down. It's broken down macro, meso, micro. So the macro, again, is 52 weeks. The mesocycle is the few months that you have in between each season. I mean, that you have going into each season. Okay. Now, let's say if you have something that you have to do in 6 months. So now you're going to break it down more like the macro cycle is now 6 months. And then you're going to break the micro cycle down and like a 3 month period, right? So 3 months and then another 3 months. Those are two mesocycles, okay? Because you only have 6 months to get to whatever particular goal you're looking to get to. And then after the macro or the mesocycle, then you have the microcycle. So before we get into the mesocycle and the microcycle, we have to map out the macro cycle, the whole year. And the first thing I asked you guys to do was to find the exercises that you don't like and then find the exercises that you do like. So I'm going to give you an example with me, right? So I found out that I like push-ups, I like to power lift, and I like to run. So those are the main things I like to do. Now, I don't necessarily like hitting the bag. you know, especially when I'm out of shape. So that's an exercise I don't like to do. I don't like to jump rope when I'm out of shape. So those are the exercises that I don't like to do, and I don't like to do them. And I identify why is because when I'm out of shape, it doesn't feel good on my joints to hit a bag. When I'm out of shape, it doesn't feel good to jump, do plyometrics with, you know, rope skipping. So now that I figured out exactly what exercises I do like and what exercises I don't like, now we're going to break down the macro cycle and how it should supposed to be approached. Before you go into approaching or creating a routine a full year or 6 months, just to let you know, if you're trying to get in shape before a wedding or whatever, give yourself a year. I'm telling you, give yourself 6 to 8 months to a year, right? Don't try to get in shape in a month. It's just not going to work like that. You're going to look a little shapely, right? Because according to science, excuse me, after 2 months, you know, you start seeing some kind of results, or you start to feel a little stronger. So now let's say that you're trying to get in shape. You want to be in shape. This is my goal. My goal is to make sure that I'm Superman by October 6th, 2025. So I have a whole year. Before I go into this creating a full program, I'm going to give myself a series of tests. Now, how the tests go. The first test I'm going to give myself today is a push-up test. How many push-ups can I do in a clip? Now, the reason why push-ups are extremely important in anyone's program, from a novice to an avid workout person or athlete, the reason why push-ups are extremely important because push-ups work the core in the whole entire body. All right. And I'm going to say optimally. Some people would disagree because push-ups work a lot of the chest. So you don't get as much work on the back muscles as you should. Right. So optimally, let's take that with a grain of salt, right? To be right and exact. However, when you're doing a push-up, it's a more natural exercise. You don't need weights for or anything like that. And not only that, push-ups go with your normal, listen to what I'm about to say. Push-ups go with your normal, natural human scapulohumeral rhythm. Scapulohumeral rhythm. That's what push-ups do. Your scapulohumeral rhythm is the rhythm of your scapula, this muscle, as they call shoulder blades, and your humerus working in unison together, and the muscles surrounding working to perform that movement. So the normal scapulohumeral rhythm, the push-up promotes that or helps that. Okay. Now, the great thing about the scapulohumeral rhythm in the push-up is that when you do a push-up, naturally with a push-up, you're working naturally because you're going against gravity. The body works not only the front of the body, but on the down motion, it works the back of the body. So you're working your lats, your back muscles. So you are working the back muscles and you're working the chest muscles all in one shot. So that's one of the most natural exercises you can do to develop not only peace. Finally caught you on live. Peace, Prince of Law. Peace to the God. How you be? So check this out, Prince of Law. We're talking about workouts and all that stuff because you know that's what I do. That's what I do for a living. LMT means licensed massage therapist. Licensed massage therapist. I do group fitness and personal training as well. Just a quick summary. So now the push-up, right? So the push-up naturally works your scapulohumeral rhythm, and it naturally works your antagonist and agonist muscles in unison. So you're getting a balance of stimulating both the front and back of the body. Okay. So push-ups is everyone. If you can do this, you should be peace. No doubt. Now I got you. I need some pointers as well. Indeed, God. So now that we're working the push-up, right? No, so now I were talking about why this has to be. This is paramount in creating a program. I try to tell Batima if she's watching that you got to do the push-ups. The push-ups is going to work your back, your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, a little bit of your biceps on the eccentric phase, the down phase. Is going to work your back muscles. It's going to work your neck muscles because look, now you got to try to hold your neck up, against gravity to perform a push-up. So while that's happening, you're building your neck muscles. You're building your lower back muscles, your core muscles. You're building your inner thighs, your legs. So it's a total body movement. So what I'm going to do to test out my fitness level is the first exercise I'm going to do with the first exercise I'm going to test my fitness level with is the push-up. Okay. Now, if I could do 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, whatever I max out on, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write down my push-up count. Now, once that's written down, the next exercise that I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to lift this 10 times. I'm going to try to pull my own weight 10 times, meaning, let's say if I'm 210 pounds, which that's my weight right now, which I'm trying to get way down. You want to put, now, if you have back problems and stuff like that, I don't necessarily suggest this unless you are sure of this. So what you want to do is you want to load up your bar with your weight. So if you're 210 pounds like myself, you want to put 210 pounds on the bar. Keep in mind, some bars are 45 pounds, some bars are 42 and a half pounds or 43 and a half. One of those, Olympic bars are different than actual regular bars. If you don't know, Olympic bars, they bend a little bit, so and they're a little lighter. They're used for cleaning and snatching and all that. So 45-pound bar, and you want to put the weight up on this bar to be equivalent to your own weight. Once you get your own weight on that bar, you want to try to pull that weight, deadlift. You want to deadlift that weight 10 times. If you can deadlift your own body weight 10 times, that you record that. If you can't lift it 10 times, you record that. If you can only lift it 2 times, you, my friend, are weak for your own body weight. All right. So you're weak for the amount of weight you are. If you can't lift your own body weight 10 times on a deadlift. Okay. So the same thing is true for the squat. The same thing is true for the bench press. So right now I can't bench press. Well, actually I can bench press. I can bench press my body weight. So I can bench press my body weight. Check to see if you can bench press your body weight, squat your body weight, deadlift your body weight. Okay. If you can't do the 3, however many reps you get, write that down. If you get 2 reps, write that down. If you get 3 reps, write that down. Write everything down. So the main exercises you want to test your strength with would be the push-ups, squats, deadlifts, and chest press. One more thing. Of course, I'm going to add chin-ups. Now, pull-ups is done like this, right? With a wider grip. And if your lats aren't developed enough and your biceps, you're going to have trouble on the pull-up. So the smartest way to see how strong you are without tweaking your shoulder is to do chin-ups. Chin-ups are done here where your hands are close. Now, when your hands are closer on the chin up, you incorporate the bicep more. So you can get as you can get as many reps as you can out of that. Out here, this wide or this wide, you're not going to get as many reps. So go in close and get as many chin ups as you can. Now, if you get 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is to figure out your own fitness level. Okay. Now that you've tested your strength, put that down. This is before we start creating a program for the macro cycle. So now, after you take those tests, now you have to take a cardio test. There is a test out there called the Bruce Times test where you walk on a treadmill. You can do that, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. It just does not have to be that complicated. I'm trying to make this really simple for people to take this and be able to use it. So, what I explained last time, there are many different equations. There are many different equations to figure out what's your maximum heart rate, right? But the main and easiest one to figure out your maximum heart rate is what I said on the last live. I said it's 220 minus your age. So 220 and then minus your age. Once you figure out why you calisthenics and yoga first before doing weights. Okay, so I guess you're saying why use calisthenics before using weight. Okay, so the reason why I said do the push-up, that's a great question, whoever you are. Thank you for that question right there, man. Oh man, I love when people are thinking. Now, check this out. The reason why I said do the push-up test before doing the weights test. Now, listen to what I'm saying carefully, because the push-up is pretty much a warm-up for the entire body. Now, you heard me, subscriber 10304. I said the push-up is a warm-up for the entire body. So you're going to go into doing one set of push-ups. We're just trying to find out. And also, you don't want to max out on you don't want to push yourself too hard in the beginning, because you have so many other lifts to do. And the push-up, like I said, it's the easiest, and it trains your scapulohumeral rhythm, and it keeps the balance between front and back of the body, antagonist and agonist. And like I said, just it warms up the whole body. So once you are done with the push-up, now look at the order I went into. I said push-up first. Right after the push-up, I said then now deadlift, because the push-up is a push. So now you want to go into doing a pull, because the muscles on the pull exercises aren't like exhausted, aren't really used as much as the push. So you do one set of push-ups, you try to rep it out as many as you can, then go into a pull, which is the deadlift. And that deadlift, you want to pull that weight as many times as you can. Well, not as many times as you can. You want to pull your own body weight on the bar 10 reps. If you can't do it, it's fine. Do not try to pull until you pull your back out. Okay? So you do, if it's 1 rep, that's all it is. If you can't even lift it, now you know you can't lift it. So now you start taking the weight down. Like, let's say, for instance, if I go to lift the 210 pounds and I can't lift the 210 pounds and I can only lift 200, I lift the 200, do just as many reps as I can, and then write that down. Okay. So now you got a pull exercise. Right after the pull exercise, now you go with another push exercise, but this push exercise now is a chest press after the deadlift. Now, after the chest press exercise, you go with another push exercise. Now, the reason why you can do another push exercise is because you just did a push exercise for the upper body. Now you can squat for the lower body. Okay. Now you do your squat. Okay. After doing the squat, now you can finish it off with the pull up. Okay. In that order. In that order. Okay. Now that we're good on that, let's go back into testing your cardio. Now, remember, I said you take 220, you take 220, subtract your age from 220, and there is your maximum heart rate. Okay. Now, once you figure out your maximum heart rate, you get on the treadmill for 20 minutes to an hour, depending on however much time you have or however much you can handle on the treadmill. The reason why I say on the treadmill is because the treadmill is more focused. So when you're on the treadmill, you can see numbers. You can look at the monitor and you can see how fast you're going. You can see your time. Okay. You can see your heart rate. So do this test on a treadmill, not in the park. Okay. Not in the track on the park. So you're on the treadmill. You look at the monitor. You figured out your maximum heart rate. Now, your main objective is to get to the maximum heart rate, but gradually build up before you get to the maximum heart rate. Gradually build up before you get to the maximum heart rate. And you break it up in about 5 to 10 minute increments. Okay. So the first 5 minutes, you want to walk for, it could be 3.5 or 3. You walk 5 minutes. Now you bump it up a notch. Okay, now the next 5 minutes, you want to add a little more speed. Then the next 5 minutes, you add a little more speed. And now when you get to a speed where it's comfortable enough for you to break a sweat, get a good workout, and have good form, you keep it there. Once you get to a speed where it's comfortable and you can break a little sweat, then you keep it there. All the while, you're looking at your heart rate. You're watching your heart rate. You're looking at where your heart rate is. Okay, my heart rate is about 50% of its max right now. Okay, and at right now, I'm at maybe 3.5 or 4.0. Okay, keep that in mind. Boom. Now you're starting to rev it up a little bit. Now you're starting to rev it up. Then when you reach your maximum heart rate, according to this 220, take away your age. Once you get it to the maximum heart rate, get there, stick there, and see how long you can keep it there. Okay. All right. If you can't keep it there, bring it down a notch and find out how far you are away from your maximum heart rate. And if it's comfortable for you to sustain that speed for the duration of your cardio tests. If I'm not clear, please let me know in the chat. If I'm not clear, please let me know in the chat. So now you know how to test yourself before you go into doing a program or creating a program. Oh, another thing that you should make sure you do, if you don't have one already, you should get a blood pressure monitor, right? Where it's portable. You could just put it right on, turn it on, and it takes your blood pressure and your resting heart rate. Another thing I want you to make sure you write down after this test here. Hold on a second. As a beginner, I wouldn't touch any weights before mastering body weight exercises first. I would focus just on push-ups, body squats first, then dips, then chin-ups, then pull-ups, then muscle up. Okay. As a beginner, I don't recommend doing any muscle ups at all. That's how you see it, brother subscriber. I don't know who you are. That's how you figured you want to do it. Great. However, this is a great topic right here on body weight exercises and weight exercises. Here's the deal. If you're a beginner, especially an older person, chances are you're what you being able to do a full calisthenics routine won't happen. It's not happening. It's not happening. A full calisthenics routine and maintain that full calisthenic uh, um, routine for a number of days, I doubt they'll be able to do that. So what I think that is best for a beginner to do is to utilize technology. And the new technology they have in the gyms now is well thought out, created by engineers to make sure that people don't injure themselves. Now, I'm telling you, I thought myself, and I work out. I thought that I can do a full body weight routine and I'll be all good. And guess what happened? I injured my shoulder because I had muscles that weren't fully developed, that I didn't think of it. I didn't really think of it. I thought, hey, I always work out. I could just go and just do whatever. It doesn't work like that. You know, things happen in people's lives, people's routines change. Okay. And they get weaker in certain areas. And calisthenics sometimes are not the best to do for a full routine for someone just starting out again. So I'm going to say, you know, push-ups to try just to test out your strength. And then, you know, the rest of those exercises are tests to then to create a program for you to build up to then eventually, if you want to, do a full calisthenics routine. So, as I said, as far as cardio is concerned, you test your cardio. Once you test that cardio out, you write it down. So you just wrote down your cardio test, you wrote down your squat test, all those tests that I gave you. You wrote all of that down. You wrote the numbers down for that. So now, once you write all those numbers down for that, now you build your macro cycle around that. Meaning this, if I'm only doing 20 push-ups a clip in this test, you're going to now create a goal for your push-ups. Now, in my mesocycle may be the season of the fall. So, meaning this mesocycle for the season of the fall is set up this way for me. By the winter, I want to be able to do 50 push-ups. By the spring, I want to be able to do 70 push-ups a clip. By the summer, I want to be able to do 100 a clip. By the time the whole year is done, I want to be able to do 120, 150 push-ups a clip. That's how you program yourself. Gradual progression. Gradual progression. If I'm not deadlifting 210, I want to be able to deadlift 210 in maybe 6 months. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I agree for muscle ups. I wouldn't do any muscle ups before mastering pull ups. Right. I wouldn't do any pull ups before mastering chin ups. Right. I wouldn't do any chin ups before mastering dips. Okay. And I wouldn't do, I can't see, I don't see the other one. Now, check this out. The thing about the dips, though, too, when you're focused on mastering the dips, how to master the dips. Okay. Or doing any dips before mastering push ups. Okay, yeah, right. Mastering push-ups and body squats. I like that. Exactly. I like how you broke that down. Let me make sure I put that up on the screen so people see, because I like what you just said. Right, brother or sister. Any dips before mastering? Right. Because I was just about to say those dips can be dangerous on the rotator cuff muscle, especially if you do them too wide and you go down too low, you know, and your rotator cuff isn't developed and your triceps aren't developed, your biceps aren't developed. So like I was saying, you know, after doing all these tests, now I say to myself, what's the overall goal? The overall goal is to be able to do 120 push-ups by the end of the year. I want to be able to squat my own body weight, deadlift my own body weight by the end of the year, and bench press my own body weight by the end of the year. Now, here's the thing. right? I call it patience and quiet progression. I like that, brother. I don't know who you are. I wish you could put your name up there because I like you chiming in because you have some kind of experience and you could really help me break this down to the people. So now, after the overall, now we figure out the overall goal for strength. We figured out the overall goal for strength. I want to be able to squat, deadlift, and bench press my own body weight. I need 120 push-ups by the next year. So I'm giving myself a year. Okay, and you break it down in mesocycles. What should I do in each mesocycle? What's the natural progression in each mesocycle? Now, depending on what the reason why it's important for you to track everything is because there's not a guarantee that you're going to reach your strength goal. For instance, I'm trying to lose weight as well. So to be able to deadlift 210 pounds while I'm 165 pounds, because that's my goal, is it possible? Of course it is. But am I going to have ups and downs in strength? Yes. And you have to write down, you have to track everything to see what are the ups and downs and why. Why am I not progressing? Why am I not having any significant strength gains in mesocycle 1 and macrocycle 2? Okay, so the macro cycle can be, after a 2-week period. Okay, so after 2 weeks, I should be here. That's a macro cycle. I mean, a microcycle. Sorry, microcycle. So the 2 weeks microcycle. I should be here in 2 weeks. If I'm not there in 2 weeks, what am I doing wrong? So it's all a science, and you have to pay careful attention to what you're doing. That's why you must track everything. So now that we're clear, right? Full year, mesocycle, months, microcycle, weeks. Okay. Now that you have all the tests down, you've written all that out. You did 1 day of testing. Like right now, after this, I'm gonna do my car. I'm gonna see if I can do. You know what? I'm gonna do my push-up test and my pull-up test because I don't have access to the weight room until tomorrow. So I'm gonna do my push-up and my pull-up test. After your test is done, that 1 day of testing or that second day of testing, whatever, you're writing everything down. You figured out exactly what your goals are for the mesocycle and the macrocycle and the microcycles. And then now you start plugging in simple routines based on levels of intensity. So if you have 7 days to work out, or 6 days, or 5 days, or 4 days, let me explain to you how levels of intensity should go. So levels of intensity should be based on your own lifestyle. It shouldn't be based on you wanting to rush to get into shape. The levels of intensity should be based on your own lifestyle and your fitness level. So if you are out of shape, obviously you're going to have more light days of intensity than you are doing heavy days of intensity. Now, heavy and light can both mean where you bump the heart rate up really high, right, for heavy, or you keep the heart rate low, and that's for light. Or you can keep it moderate right down the center in between the two, right? Or you can go really light in weight, but still, guess what? Still have a heavy intensity day if you go light in weight. You know why? Because you can go really light in weight, but high in reps and short breaks, and your heart rate is really high. So your level of intensity is technically based on your heart rate. So if you're going maximum heart rate, that's a heavy. If you're going right down the middle, that's a moderate heart rate. If you're going like a light, smooth routine, nice and easy, like a brisk walk, that's light. So like I said, your program should be broken down by way of level of intensity. So let's say in microcycle 1, mesocycle 1, I go, okay, this week I have 7 days to work out. My first day is going to be light. Now, just hypothetically speaking, I'm not saying you should work out 7 days. Just hypothetically speaking. My first day is light. My second day is going to be light again. Because remember, this is my first week out. My third day is going to be light again, but it's consistent, right? And there's a lot of wear and tear on the body when you're just starting out. And if you're going to do 7 days, you want to do it smart, right? My fourth day is light again. My fifth day, I'm going to make it moderately intense. My sixth day, I'm going to go back to light. My seventh day, I'm going to go heavy because I'm just testing my heavy training program. All right. I'm just going moderate because I want to see how where I fit as far as is how I feel and how I feel. Feeling is very important. When you feel like you're going to almost die and shit like that, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's healthy probably once a week, depending on your fitness level in a short period, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Okay. So now let's say if I have 5 days to work out, I got 1 day light. Now I'm going to say this is my second week, my second week. So this is my macro cycle. My second week, I'm going to go light, heavy, light, moderate, light, and heavy. So I have more light than I have heavy and moderate. Now, that microcycle, let's say if we made it 2-week microcycle, that's microcycle's over with now. Now, the next microcycle, I'm going to go, let's say if it's another 2 weeks, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go, and I have, let's say I have 4 days to work out now. I'm going to go, now I'm going to take it up a notch on the third week. I'm going to go light, heavy, moderate. You see what I just did? I still only have 1 day of heavy. The other days are light and then moderate. Okay, let's say in a fourth week, I do the same routine again as far as intensity. Now, we're going to the 5th week. Now I want to take it up another notch. So this is how I'm going to do it. Now let's go back to the 7 days. I have a light, moderate, light, moderate, light, and heavy. So now I have more moderate days. And then you gradually change it. And then you do a heavy day, high intensity. You could do a high intensity day down the line. Right now, you just want to focus on body mechanics, lifting properly, and getting into the routine of training. Okay. Let's see what this brother says right here. All right, maybe going to the boxing gym twice a week for a beginner is a good way to get your cardio going. Plus, it's fun and stress relieving. Yeah. I mean, I could kind of sort of agree with that, depending on the person. If they like boxing, then yeah, that's something that they like to do. I spoke about that. If you like something, then you want to do that. That's what you want to do. So yeah, I could agree with that. But depending on the thing about boxing though, is like the coaches, sometimes they don't know what they're really doing. They don't really have like the knowledge, to train people, from a beginner on up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. They have good boxing. They might have the USA boxing certification, but they don't know how to gradually progress a person, and they can really push someone to the max and limit. And who knows? You know what I'm saying? So after you understanding how to create that program, you know what I'm saying? Like after I broke down the macro, meso, and micro, now, and you have the test. Now this is what you do. This is what you do. You now take these main exercises. The reason why I always give these main exercises to my clients, anyone, LeBron James could walk in this place and I say, the LeBron James, I know you've done this probably 1,000 times, but we got to still do this again. The main exercises are based off of powerlifting and basic sports and conditioning. So you'll take those tests and you're just going to plug some of those exercises in your program based on level of intensity and your days that you're training. So, meaning I'm going to give you a squat, a deadlift, a chest press, okay, a row, and an overhead press. Now, the reason why the row is there is because the row is going to keep the shoulders safe from having shoulder issues with impingement and stuff like that, because you have two push exercises on the upper body. So rule of thumb, they say for every push exercise you have to do two pull exercises, right, to keep your shoulders safe, healthy and safe. Even though I'm giving you two push exercises and then one pull on this routine, that's fine, because on another routine I can give you more exercises to work a lot more back. Okay, so just to let you know, if you do one routine where you're doing a lot of push exercises, the next routine's got to be a lot more pull exercises. All right, to keep it balanced. Okay, so you got 5 exercises to train in track. Very simple: squat, deadlift, row, chest press, and overhead press. Those movements are compound movements. They incorporate more than one joint. So they're multi-joint movements. They hit multiple areas at one time. And that whole routine right there is a full body routine. At the end of your routine, you want to do abs. Why do you want to do your abs after you do your routine? Because you're going to need your core to help you with these lifts, or you're going to need your core to help you run. I want to give you this too. Give you an example. If you run for a long period of time, not even necessarily long, you can run for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. After you do that run, do some crunches and watch how your core feels. You're going to feel your abdominals a lot. You're going to feel your abdominals a lot. So you need your core to help you squat, help you push that weight, to help you deadlift. Okay. So you want to do your core after the routine, not in between or before, after the routine. Now, some of you are you work out a lot already, so maybe you can kind of like put some of the ab exercises in there. But for this particular routine, I'm going to say just do the abs at the end of the workout. Now, I gave you the exercises. What do you do with those exercises? You do this. You go level of intensity. It is low or light, right? But guess what? You can lift really heavy on a light intensity day, right? You can lift your body weight, and then, but the thing is, you could take a long break after that. You could take a long break. Now, I'll explain the breaks in a second. Now, you could do a moderate routine and take a shorter break, right? So if you do like 10 rep max, you could take a break for like 60 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds. Okay. Now, if you do like a heavy, high intensity routine, you can go lighter on the weight, but your heart rate is really high, and you can shorten the break to about 30 seconds to a minute. All right. If this might get a little confusing, and if it does, please let me know so I could explain more. Okay. So now you got these 5 exercises. You're going to plug it in on the light day where you lift really heavy. Light intensity day where you lift really heavy, you're lifting that weight maybe 2 to 8 times. That's strength. 2 to 8 times is strength. Hypertrophy or muscle building, you're lifting that weight for 8 to 12 reps. For endurance, you're lifting that weight from 10 or 12 to 20 reps. Okay. So I said that. Now, rest period in between the strength, the hypertrophy or muscle building, and in muscular endurance. This is how it goes. For strength, you want to rest from 90 seconds up to 5 minutes if you're lifting that heavy. If you're lifting really heavy, 1 rep max, 2 rep max, and you're giving it your all and you're really pulling or pushing really heavy, you take 90 seconds and above. Okay. Now, if you're doing a 10 rep max day, you can rest from 60 seconds to 90 seconds in between each set. Endurance, if you're doing high reps, you can rest from 30 seconds to a minute in between each set. Boom. Take that information, figure out what day is light, what day is moderate, and what day is heavy. And I'm not talking about the weight, I'm talking about level of intensity. I'm talking about how high that heart rate is. Okay. Now that we got all of that figured out, we figured out what exercises we're going to use, and we figured out what rep scheme we're going to do. Okay. And we figured out level of intensity, right? Based on the categories I gave you. And we're going to base it all on the heart rate as well. So remember, I gave you that 220 minus your age, that's your maximum heart rate. From that maximum heart rate, you want to figure out what's 80% of it, what's 70%, what's 60, and what's 50% of that max heart rate. Do the math. Okay. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time to figure this out. I suggest you guys, hit me up. NYP Talk Show at gmail.com, NYP Talk Show at gmail.com. If you are confused about anything, because then I'll explain even more on the next one. But now I just gave you how to build a routine for yourself. I gave you macrocycle, mesocycle, microcycle. I gave you levels of intensity based on the heart rate. I gave you exercises to use, and I gave you the test to start this whole routine off of. Now, I wanted to add this piece. Now, because you have a routine where you're doing 5 exercises and you have 2 push exercises, but only 1 pull exercise, what I want you to do is this. Okay. If you are a person that loves the bench, if you love the bench, on this second day of weight routine, take out the overhead press and put a lat pull down to replace that overhead press. So one day you're doing a chest press and an overhead press, and then a row in those 5 exercises. And the other day, you're doing those same 5 exercises. The only thing you're going to take out is the overhead press if you love the chest press, and you're going to do a lat pull down. If you don't care for the chest press, take out the chest press, do the overhead press, do the row, and then a lat pull down. So that's your 2 exercises for 1 press and that second weight day. Now, should you do 2 heavy days in 1 week? No. Especially starting off, because it's too much on your neuromuscular system. It's taxing on the neuromuscular system. Like I said, you want to go heavy one time out of the week, whether it be your heart rate or weight, or heavy or the weight on your bar. You go heavy one day, okay, and then you go moderate on another day, and then you go really light on another day. All right. You do one heavy day a week. That's all you need for heavy, for right, to just start out. And then eventually then you start going to 2 days, and then depending on your goals, 3 days, and then you cycle on things, and then you cycle off things. You cycle on things and you cycle off things. And I want to talk about that in regards to nutrition the next time. You know, we're almost out of time here. But like I said, you know, cycle on things and cycle off things. We're going to go more in depth with this routine thing. Next time, we're going to intertwine nutrition with it so you can understand what to do with nutrition. It's the same principle. Like right now, I have to stop eating certain things in order for me to reach certain goals. And that's going to be hard as hell for me to do. I'm telling you, because I love food. So, I'm going to slowly cut things out of my diet. Right? You want to do the same thing for yourself. Slowly and gradually cut things out of your diet. Okay. So, you know, that's it for today's podcast on how to build a workout routine or how to create a workout routine. If you have any questions, I gave you my email. If you have any more questions, man, just hit me up. Make sure I'm going to let you guys know when I'm doing this podcast again. So, you know, I know I just popped up out of nowhere and did it. You know, I just wanted to try to keep my word with you guys, you know. Anyway, I'm going to go do today these push-up tests and pull-up tests. And tomorrow I'm doing the cardio test and the weight test. And the next time we get on this live, I'll tell you how it went. All right. So peace to y'all. Thank y'all for chiming in. Share, subscribe. Thank you for showing up. We have super chat. Super chat. Don't hit the super chat when you get the chance to. We're trying to build this platform up bigger than what it is. We have a lot of great ideas that we want to make sure comes into fruition. Y'all have a good day. Peace.